Hey guys, welcome to the CryoFX YouTube channel, and today's video is going to be on how an electric confetti cannon works, also known as an electric confetti launcher. Now, there's two different types of confetti launchers, or confetti blasters if you will. You have the continuous flow confetti blasters, or continuous flow confetti cannons as they're called, and then you have the electric confetti cannons. Yes, electric. And the reason why, we're going to get to that in a minute, but before we do, please hit that subscribe button and of course like button, notification bells to be advised when we have a new video come out that you need to know about, because we cover a lot of great stuff here. So without further ado, let's jump right in. As you could tell, the set is set up here for electric confetti cannons, and you might be wondering what the different cannons are and why they look different. Well, in all actuality, they're relatively the same. Some of them have different features, some of them have different cues, number of cues if you will. You're asking, what is a cue? Well, let's answer that question for you right now. A cue is when you're going to be queuing up the confetti cannon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be called a 4-cue or 4-shot confetti cannon, electric confetti cannon. You have other ones. My left, your right. You have a 2-shot. You see 1, 2. Also called a 2-cue. And then you have the single cue or single shot electric confetti launcher. And these are relatively the same. The manufacturer is generally the same. When they manufacture them, they all come from the same place. However, this one over to my right, your left, this is a 4-cue as well. This one just has different features. Now, there's a couple of different ones also further than what we have on the set here. Those ones are not on the set, like I just said. Some of them are a handheld one. We'll have another video on that later. Others, they look a little bit different and they may function a little bit different and offer some other features that these don't. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to cover actually how it works, how an electric confetti launcher works in detail, from the confetti stick inside to why they're called electric to the operation of the machine itself. We obviously sell the machines, we use the machines, and we rent the machines. So we're going to be doing you justice and providing those details here so that if you want to rent them from us or you want to know about them, you're covered in this video. Now, jumping in, what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our main, I guess, piece to this video. This is a 4-cue or 4-shot confetti launcher. This is what we call our inline confetti launcher, electric confetti launcher. This one is a side-by-side. You have 2 cues on each side, just a little bit smaller footprint. This one generally operates the same as these two. Your dual or your two-shot and your single shot. You just have less shots. Why would you want a 4-shot over a 2 or a single shot? Well, first and foremost, one machine can actually do what 2 of these 2 shots can do, or 4 of these single shots can do. So without renting 4 machines, you can rent one. The only downside is that you have everything all in one machine. So maybe you wanted confetti coming 2 from here and 2 from here, 2 from the right, 2 from the left. Well, you can't do that with this machine because they're all on the same machine. So this would be your centerpiece if you only wanted 4. Now, how this works, and we'll get into the details later, but in general, how these work is when you set your DMX channel, if this is set to channel 1, well, what's going to happen is channel on your DMX controller, channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to fire these. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. Now, it actually is reversed because the way I'm looking at the machine here, but you get the point. One channel fires 1 cue 1 time. That's how these work. So what ends up happening is you load everything up, you mount it on your truss. We're going to show you about that in just a minute. And then what happens is you sit there and wait. When your event happens and you're ready to launch the cue, well, then you launch what you need to launch off of your confetti machine. And it's a single shot, 1 time. When you're done with that shot at the end of the event that you're doing, you go ahead and you take the machine down, you take these tubes out of it. We're going to get into those tubes in a second, and then you just throw them away. It's as simple as that. So everything's preloaded. The confetti will come preloaded in the tubes. You can pick between paper, mylar, streamers, biodegradable, neon, glow in the dark. There's a ton of them that you can choose from. And you could even load them on your own yourself. We don't recommend it, but if you really wanted to do that, that is an option. We have had some customers do that. So how this works is this. You will go ahead and you'll rent the machine, or you purchase the machine and you mount the machine where it's going to go. Okay? Now, when you mount it, you want to make sure that you have enough cables that you're going to be able to hook it up to the correct control. Whether you're using wireless DMX, which we do not recommend, and the reason being is if this machine gets any false DMX signals at all, what's going to happen is it's going to fire these, and then you're going to have a mess to clean up before your event even started. Probably not a good idea. Been there, done that. So what I'm saying here is this. Go ahead, mount the machine, then you're going to go ahead, you're going to grab your power cord, you're going to take the power cord, and you're going to go ahead and plug that into the machine, okay? Once the power cord's plugged in, you go ahead and you take your DMX cords. Now, certain machines have a power con in and a power con out, so you can daisy chain these machines. This machine here does not. It only has a power con blue, which is the power in. This machine, which is a single shot, has both. This machine, which is a quad shot or a 4-shot, also has both. This machine does not have a power con. This has an IEC connector. So you could see here that the machines differ just a little bit, like I said they would earlier. They all have DMX in and DMX out, as with standard machines that do. Now, the other difference is this. This machine is very rudimentary. Okay, these actually have an LCD panel on it that is somewhat smart, okay? Probably a little bit smarter than we are. Just kidding. This one actually just does DMX. This one has different programming that can be available, if you will, different options. Now, some of these, depending on these or other ones that aren't in this video, they can allow you to preset the machine where channel 1 and channel 2, you would have channel 1 fires these two, and channel 2 fires these. Other ones, they have different functions. Some of it has different types of language settings, different power settings. I've seen those before. Also, just different functions. We're not going to name them all here because they do vary across the board. But in all actuality, the operation is the same, and that's the purpose of this video. So continuing forward, grab your DMX cables. You go ahead, plug the DMX cables in to the DMX port is what we're going to do right now. So DMX cables plugged in, power cables plugged in. I have a power switch back here that I'm going to go ahead and plug this power in, and now it's plugged in. So if you want to see what I'm doing, well, the camera's not back here, so I'm sorry you can't see what I'm doing. It's a secret. I'm just kidding. But what I'm not kidding about is this. You definitely want to hook power and DMX up before you do anything else. The reason being is this. If you were to take your canisters and put them in your machine, which we're going to get to in a minute, what would end up happening is you would plug those in, and then you're going to plug your power in. This is what not to do. You'd plug your power in, then you plug your DMX in, and then it would send a false signal to the machine, and it would blast out the confetti all over the place before you actually wanted to, and that would be a problem. And it would happen either way. So just to be safe, and what I mean either way is whether you plug power in first or DMX. So just to avoid any of that, you see how confusing it is? I purposely made it confusing because confusing, stay away from it. Non-confusing, plug everything in, get the machine up and running, and then plug your tubes in. And what I mean by that, we're going to get to that in a minute. So you take your DMX and you finish forward, okay? Plug the DMX in to your DMX controller. Now what we're using here is a Chauvet Obey 40. These are just simple DMX controllers, very rudimentary, very simple. They have 8 different channels across the front. We also use Chauvet Obey 3s, but a 3 would not work for this because one of the cues or one of the shots would be left off. So, and I'm going to get to some other things in a minute here that actually will show you different creative ways to use these and actually mix some things up, because you probably just think 1, 2, 3, 4, shooting 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2 and 2, or all 4 together. Well, you can actually fill these tubes with different types of confetti and streamers and mix them, and it looks good. So now, Yes, I'm jumping all over, but we have a point to this. So DMX is hooked up, power's hooked up. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cycle the machine on, okay? Machine takes a minute. It'll actually show that it's warming up. What we'll do in a minute here is we're gonna pop a video on the screen and actually go through the LCD setup and the different functions for this machine. Maybe we should do that now, don't you think? Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. So you turn the machine on. Obviously the machine is going to warm up here. You'll see that bar at the bottom kind of going across and letting you know that it's warming up. And then it goes to what DMX channel the machine is set to. And if you notice, this DMX light is lit up right here. There's no error light, which is a red light below. The error light would light up, and then if there's any errors for whatever reason, there's multitude of errors. We're not going to cover errors here because we don't like errors, but this lets you know that it is getting DMX. If I unplug the DMX cord, you'll see that that light goes out, which there's no DMX. I plug the DMX cord back in. That lets you know that the machine is getting DMX. Okay, so we're going to go through the LCD display. As you can see, LCD. We turn the machine on. The machine will take about 1 or 2 seconds before it powers on, and you can see the bar slowly loading up, letting you know that the machine is being prepped and turning on. Once that gets to full, what we're going to do is show you the different functions. It will automatically go to the last DMX address set, which is 001 right here. So you have an escape, down, up, and enter. Escape normally goes back, enter goes into any sub menu, and of course down and up, you already know what that means. Errors. We talked about errors. Errors, just discuss if there's errors with the machine, perhaps DMX, anything like that. DMX is not plugged into this right now because this DMX light is not lit. So we'll press enter. You go in the menu and we'll cycle down. You have your setup, manual, display, factory, and of course return. Return just returns back. So enter again. We don't want return, so we're going to go to setup. The sub menu is setup, DMX address. If you press enter again, this light's green and you can go ahead and change your DMX address. Enter again, sets it, or you can escape and it will go back. ID number is the ID number of the machine. There we go. There it is. So this is machine number 1. Then you have your wireless. Yes or no. This one's set to no. Some of these machines do come with a wireless receiver. So if you have a wireless transmitter or a remote, you can activate it wirelessly. I leave it set to no. Enter. Interval. This is going to be the interval for the DMX address. So if machine 1 is set to 1, if this machine is on 10, that's going to block off 10 DMX sections or send 10 DMX settings until the next machine is on. So that is just the interval. Some of these machines actually have an interval which allows time. So 10 seconds of interval time that the firing will be on. This one can be set. There really is no, let's go down here. And so 100. So most likely this is for timing. We go back and of course return. So return goes back to the other menu. Then manual. This is the manual setting. Channel 11. So this, the interval was actually the channels. The reason being is manual setting. So 10 is going to block off 10, and then you have channel 11, channel 12, channel 13, channel 14. So the interval on this particular machine from this manufacturer is not the timing. This is actually the channel as relevant with what we see here. Then you go to display, language, reverse, screen, different options here. We don't need to go through everything. And then of course you have your factory. You don't want to mess with factory, might mess your machine up. Return back to DMX setting and back to the video. Okay, so now that you know how the functionality and the different settings for the panel, if you will, the LCD panel work on this machine, now we're going to get into the basics on the machine here and actually how the machine works, and then these tubes. You're probably wondering exactly how the tubes work, and we're going to cover that. So what's going to happen is on the DMX controller, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to fire this. Now, how you can do this is you can either fire 2 at one time. So these 2 would fire right here, and then the other 2, or you can do the 2 outside ones, the 2 inside ones, or you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Regardless, you can be the creator of your own destiny with these machines. That's what this video is about. So how you're going to do that is you take into consideration how many shots of confetti you want. We'll pop a video on the screen here that shows you how we use this with streamers and confetti. Okay? Some of our clients that have used these before, and we've set these up, we've had it red, white, or red, white, white. Or what we've done is confetti on the outside, streamers on the inside. So you can kind of be creative here and really get what you want. You can blast all of it at the same time, all 4 cues at the same time. That gives you confetti and streamers at the same time. Or if you don't, and you just have streamers on the outside, you shoot off the outside 2, you just have the streamers, the inside 2 is just confetti. Maybe you want the streamers 5 seconds before the confetti. You're able to do that. Maybe you want them 5 seconds after. Okay, Chris, I get the point. Just want to beat a dead horse here because the creation is almost limitless when you're using this. The only part that is limiting is these are not continuous flow confetti cannons. Okay, so they are different. You get 1 shot and that's it. You don't want your guy getting up rigging more of these tubes in the machine here during your show. That just doesn't look appropriate. My tech guys out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So how this works is this. You have these tubes. These are the tubes here. Now, this is a 2-foot tube or a 23/24 inch. Some companies have 23, some have 24. Regardless, they're relatively the same. There's generally three sizes. Okay, I don't have all 3 sizes here. We actually cut one to show you a demo, but you would have your 12-inch, which is about up to here, so bottom hand up to here. You would just be missing this top half. Your 18-inch, which would come to about right here, and then of course your 18, 19-inch, and then your 23, your 24-inch. The longer the tube, the farther the throw, the more confetti or streamers go farther, okay? Shorter the tube, smaller the event, smaller the ceiling height, smaller and shorter throw. You get the points? So this is what your 12-inch would look like. The 12-inch would be used for your indoor shows, your small shows, 400 to 500 people events, and that would be great for that, okay? Then you have your 18, 19-inch, which we do not have here. Like I said, that would come up to about right here, so bottom up to here. That would be for your medium or larger size shows, and then of course your 23 to 24-inch. This would shoot about 50 to 100 feet. Again, all of this is relative to the air, the angle. What do I mean by air? Your wind, if it's outside, if it's going into the wind, against the wind, sideways to the wind, all of this matters, okay? So these are good pointers to take into consideration when you're setting this up. Now, if it's inside, you want an angle, you're probably gonna want an angle like this, okay? Because you want it to go out, up, and down. If you're doing an angle like this, I hope to God nobody's face is right in front of that because that's an insurance claim. Seriously though, you can mount these machines up on Truss. You can mount them on the top. We'll pop some video and photos on here and show you some of our mounting and some of what we've done. I believe Mary Kay was one of the clients on these that had a ton of them all over the place in different sections from the back forward. So they got confetti everywhere, all over the crowd, from the front to the back, using these machines. It was great. Getting into the details here, well, I have this machine like this. So you'll take your tube and we're going to talk about how to mount the tube on the machine. Again, already considering your DMX and your power are connected, okay? And your DMX controller is on, but the channels are down. There's no DMX signal being sent to this machine. And how do you know this? Okay, I'm going to take the machine and I'm going to tilt it right here. And I believe you'll be able to see this on video. If not, we'll pop a video up close here and show you. But as you can see, I'm going to go channel 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll be able to see these red lights light up. Generally, the machines have red lights, okay? The red lights indicate that when you send a signal, some of them green lights, I'm looking at some green lights here, regardless, the individual channels or individual shots or cues will have a light. What that light tells you is that when you send a signal to the machine is receiving a signal. The reason why, we'll pop a picture here to show you, but they also have incandescent lights. I believe it's called incandescent. Regardless, nomenclature not important, but they have individual 12-volt lights that plug into these so that when you're testing from afar, you plug that light in, the light shines forward, and when you activate the machine, you can see if that light is actually turning on. Hence, why these are called electric confetti cannons. Round of applause, right? Yes, electric confetti cannons because they're 12-volt electric. What this machine's doing is the circuitry inside is getting the DMX signal. The DMX signal says channel 1. Channel 1, what it does is it activates, there's a plug here, which we'll get to that in a minute. It activates the plug, which the plug itself, as I'm holding in my hand here, sends a 12-volt signal into this tube, which will activate a minor little explosion. I don't want to really use that term because I don't want to freak anybody out. But what it does is it creates a chain reaction that has a canister inside. We'll get to that in a minute. And what it does is it expels some nitrogen. And the nitrogen pushes all the confetti out. I'm going to cover that in just a minute. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I'm just so anxious to get this information out. So what happens here is this. These red lights or green lights on some machines, you're going to see this light up. I'm going to do channel 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll see these light up. If not, we'll do a close-up video and you can actually see it, okay? So the lights themselves just show you and tell you that it's working. You guys want to know how these work? Well, how these work is this. We're going to show you how to mount them in the machine, and then I'm going to show you on this sample that we butchered exactly how they work inside so that you understand how they work and you have a great concept and advisory never to put your face in front of these when you're loading it in the machine because it will blow your eye out of your head, okay? Maybe a little drastic, but I want to make sure that you're aware of this because these containers are pre-charged with nitrogen, and nitrogen is, 3,000 PSI. Don't mess with it. Now, the other more important thing here is these canisters cannot be shipped via air, okay? The downside to these types of confetti cannons, you guys in the production industry, I know that everybody plans way in advance. Not correct. Everybody's last minute. So when you order these, you need to make sure you at least have 5 to 7 business days to order them in advance to your event because they have to be shipped ground. The reason being is you put these on a plane, they are not authorized to be in a plane. They could explode, and I don't know if they'll blow the plane up, but let's not try that, okay? So how this works is this. You get the new tubes. You see that they're taped at the top because the little cap that's on there, if you open this, all your confetti will fall out and you won't be able to use it. Not good. You'll take the tube and you'll go ahead, you'll loosen the 2 little screws that are on this machine. Other machines have different types of knobs, but basically how this works is this. These knobs on the side, I'm going to stop that for a second. These knobs on the side do the tilt. So I'm going to tighten this down just a little bit so that it kind of holds. You have your knob on the side here. What these control is the back and forth like this so that you can angle these. And then you have little knobs that are actually on the side of the 2-inch pipe, if you will, where this is inserted. This needs to be loosened all the way up, okay? So loosen it up. You get your tube in there, okay, just like this. Your tube is kind of pushed down in there and it stops, obviously, because the bolts in the back will stop it. And then you tighten this. Do not completely tighten this because if you tighten this all the way down, you'll puncture that canister and this thing will end up firing on your finger. You won't have it for your event. Just tighten it enough to really hold that tube in there. That's all you want to do, okay? So the tube's in there. You notice that you have this connection at the end. You do not want to plug this in yet. You want to mount all your tubes first, okay? When your tubes are mounted, you go ahead, you angle them where they want to go. I know I'm blocking my face, but I don't care. My face isn't important. The machine is. Okay, you want to angle these as such. Okay, maybe you want to fan these way out. Maybe you all want them shooting forward because you only want 2 of them to do something and 1 of them, you get the point. You decide that. So for the video here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fan these out. Okay, so one person will come to the machine, the other person goes to the DMX controller. The person that's at the machine communicates with the person at the DMX controller, and when they activate channel 1, the person at the machine says if channel 1 lights up. Okay, now channel 2, you want to check that. Channel 2 lights up, channel 3, channel 4. When they activate the controller, as you can see here, let's put that right in between. You activate it, the lights light up. You want to bring your channels back down and make sure that the channels are at 0. And you want to wait for the lights to turn off on the machine. Okay, these little individual channel lights to turn off. Wait about 5 minutes. I say 5 minutes. You could technically just wait till the lights turn off. But if you wait 5 minutes and there's no activity, now you know you're safe. Because if the lights are still on and you plug these tubes in, you're going to blow the tubes. The lights are off. The DMX controller is set to standby. Okay, whatever your DMX controller is. And again, lights are off. Now you can take your plugs and you can plug these little plugs in just like this. Now, I'm not going to plug in this one because I'm going to do a test and a demo here, and I don't want to blast the confetti off at this, especially because in this room we're in a tight space. That would probably be bad, okay, because this is a large tube. If it was a smaller one, I'd probably do that, okay? So everything's connected, everything's set up. My DMX controller is on standby, okay? These 3 are plugged in because we've already used these. Nothing's going to happen, okay? This one's not plugged in because this is a brand new one. But for the sake of this video, all of these would be brand new on your event. And this is what you would do. You would just stand by and kick it, okay? Then, when you're ready to shoot the confetti off, you activate the machine, okay? So, channel 1's not going to work. Channel 2, actually turn off standby, okay? Boom, that would blow. Boom, that would blow. Boom, okay? Now, that was me shooting each one of these individually. There is a little bit of a light in there, okay? And what that does is, this is actually the 2 pieces, the 12-volt connecting, and it actually has something that melts it and it expends inside. And that's why it smokes just a little bit right here, okay? Okay, so this part of the video, I'm actually going to show you up close how these confetti tubes work inside, just so you know. You don't want to know? Skip to the next chapter in the video. If you do want to know, keep on watching. So this is what one looks like without it being butchered and mutilated and all jacked up, okay? This one is clearly mutilated, but we've done that so that we could show you how this works inside. So there's 3 main parts to this section here in these tubes, okay? 3 main parts to what section? 3 main sections to the tube. Correction there. So you have your canister, which holds the nitrogen, compressed air, if you will. Then you have your middle section. There's really no specific of what it's called, but what this does is this sets the nitrogen canister inside here, and actually is where the control wires connect to activate and allow the nitrogen to expend itself into the tube and blow the confetti out. And then you have your tube, okay, which is the top section. So the tube looks like this, which is just any regular tube. And then the cap at the top, that's what we're going to call part of the tube. So here's the 3 sections actually taken apart. This is a reverse thread. So let me go ahead and take this out. So these are what the different sections look like. Now this middle section just has this ring around it, and then you actually have a piece of plastic. And how these work is this. Like I said here, this has your nitrogen already in it, okay? It has a little rubber stopper, a cap that's inside. And what happens is when it's put together, this is filled and it's put inside here where it cannot open. You have a, we'll do a close up here so you could see it, but there's a little trap door, if you will, or there's a little door inside here that will open and shut. When that's shut, it has a little clamp that's on it, and that clamp is basically bound to this plastic piece. Now, when this gets the 12-volt signal from the machine, you ever crossed a thin piece of metal? Actually, a fuse would be a great example. When you have a fuse that blows, it actually heats up, it gets really orange, and then it blows. That's exactly what's happening inside this. So when you activate the machine, 12 volts, positive and negative.
One for each wire, because positive and negative can't both go in the same wire.
Run through this, and on the other end, what happens is that crosses, and you actually get that type of burning, if you will. It really shorts itself out. By doing that, it burns off the contraption that holds this trap door down, and that trap door then releases under the pressure of the air. Now, this cap will blow off inside, and what ends up happening, I'm not going to put it inside here because then I wouldn't be able to get it out for the video, but that's why you have this grate right here, because this grate, if you will, built into this piece, stops this cap from shooting all the way out, because you want confetti. You don't want rubber caps going at your crowd, okay? So the cap gets stuck in here, all the air expends itself and blasts out into the tube, and all your confetti comes out the end. Confetti, streamers, whatever you have in it. Now, you've seen some close-ups and you've seen how this operates, okay? This piece is pretty much, you have to really pry this to get it apart because it's stapled together. This cap is also around this piece as well. So the way this works is when it's all together, boom. This is what it looks like when it's back together again. I'm not going to continue to put this in because frankly, it's being annoying and I'm not good at putting them together. I'm just good at explaining the video. So anyways, you get how this works, okay? Now, you know why these canisters should not be on planes, because they're under a significant amount of pressure. And now you know why you should not screw that screw in, because that screw is actually, I could look at the side of this and see right where the screw went, because there's a divot inside there, okay, a little indent from when it's screwed down. Now, these are pretty hard cans, but you don't want to take a chance on the fact that you're screwing that side piece down to lock this canister in there and actually puncture that canister, because you only get one use out of these. So as you can tell, once these are used, you go ahead and you just throw them in the trash. Okay, so that's how the individual confetti cannon, electric confetti cannon inserts, or E-Cartridges is what they're called. That's how they work. Back to the video. Perfect. So now we're back to the machine here, zooming a little bit out, and how to take the machine, not take the machine apart, but strike the machine is what they call it in this industry, so that you can use it next time. So we've already used the confetti. This one we have not, so I'll go ahead and take that one out now, because we did not use that one because it is a full confetti stick, okay? Now, these ones have already been used, and this is what they would look like probably after you get done using them. They go through a little bit of a beating because a lot of air's coming out super fast, okay? Now, when you're done using this, you go up to the machine. You're going to want to unplug each individual cartridge, E-cartridge. When you unplug them, then you come back to the little screw that's on the side, and you go ahead and you take each one of them out, okay? So you can do this. Boom, 1, 2, 3. When those are taken out, now taking them out before you turn the machine off or disconnect it, or after, safety precaution, I would just say turn the machine off first. I didn't do that here, but that's because my face was never in front of the confetti tubes. You don't ever want your face in front of these things. Let's say if this was this, you know, this one's completely dismantled, so for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you exactly what not to do. Don't do this, okay? I can't say this. I don't want somebody coming back and going, hey, you put your face in front of it. Well, yeah, because this one is completely taken apart, and I know for 1,000% sure that it will not blow up in my face, okay? So you don't want to be doing this on the machines. This is no. If one of these things did not blow all the way and you thought it did, or maybe it has a second charge because it's some manufacturer defect, or it didn't even blow at all, this would blow your eye out of your head. Again, I've said that before, but I got to be serious on this. It's serious stuff, okay? There's a lot of pressure in these. Never put your face, okay? Just get it out of the way. regardless. Maybe it breaks, maybe it doesn't. The fact and the moral of the story is your face isn't in front of this, okay? And then you can go in. I don't recommend ever going over the machine because you could get hurt, your limbs, your body. So I always tilt these things away. I'm gonna tilt it at you. You're on camera, so it doesn't matter. And then you go in and you take the machine apart, okay? Strike the machine. I like saying take it apart. I don't know why. Anyways, I always turn the machine off first, and then I take the tubes out, okay? If you don't, well, then you don't. Take the tubes out, then turn it off, and then you go ahead and you disconnect your DMX and your power, and then boom, your machine is ready to be stricken, if that's even a word. You've striked your machine and it's ready to be put away for use next time, okay? That is how an electric confetti cannon works, or an electric confetti launcher is what they're called, okay? This video is on electric confetti launchers and E-Cartridges. These are the E-Cartridges. We have another video, link in the description, that will be on continuous flow confetti cannons. Okay, you may call them something different. You may call them confetti blasters, confetti blowers. Continuous flow confetti cannons are also called confetti blowers. Why? You got to watch that video to watch that, okay? And then, of course, confetti launchers. Now, thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you guys for tuning in and dealing with me and some of my quirky stuff. I love doing that, okay? It gives you some entertainment. But more importantly, I covered the machine. I covered how the machine works. I also covered how the DMX controller connects to the machine. And more importantly, how these E-cartridges work. This is the most important thing, okay? And of course, the ice cream man has to drive by while I'm recording this video. Why not? Never has this happened before. Anyways, until next video, I'm Chris. This is CryoFX. Do me a favor, and if you just like that comment, please hit the like button, okay? Come on, please. But seriously though, like button, subscribe button, stay tuned to our channel. We have more videos coming up, and until next time, this is CryoFX, and this was how an electric confetti cannon works. Boom. We'll see you on the next video.